1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Almost a weekend and you don't know what to do. Or you just need something fun to listen to.
Southside Pod!
Yes, we're on the air.
Pod.
And the gang's all here, all things on the South Side. We're listening to the Southside Pod. Looking for the best Southside breweries. Or you might just need an awesome place to eat.
Southside Pod!
Mount Greenwood, Evergreen, Blue Island, Beverly, Palos, and Allsup too. You're tuned into the Southside Pod.
Southside Pod!
Oakland, Midlothian,
Southside Pod.
Oak Forest, Chicago Ridge, Flossmoor, and Bridgeview. You're listening to Southside Pod.
I went back on the no carb Atkins diet.
Of course you did.
And you love making fun of this. You get so mad at me when I do this. You think it's terrible.
Well, you just turn yourself into an alcoholic, and then you end up gaining more weight in about 3 months.
No, I don't.
Like, it happens every time.
I lost 40 pounds the last time I did
then you
this.
gain 41. Like, after I'll try bread again, and you're just like, you're inhaling loaves of butternut.
Is that how you see it happening? Like, it's like, is it one of those things where, like, the bread touches my body and my body immediately blows up like a balloon?
Like, you become like Professor Clump. Flato.
Here's the problem. My son now, as he's hitting his teenage years,
Is drinking all his beer.
is svelte. He's got muscles. We were on the beach and the kid's like running
You're
like
jealous
the wind.
of your son's physique?
I feel like I have to get myself into better shape. Kid looks better than me. He just, I just want to keep up with him, I think is the thing, you know?
But he's like 15.
Yeah, but I just want to be able to, like, I don't know.
Bang younger
No,
girls.
when we go on a vacation and he's like, Dad, let's go do this physical activity.
But
I want to be
you're
able
the
to do it
dad.
with him. Huh?
You're the dad.
Yeah, but I just, I don't know.
Weight doesn't equal stamina, by the way. You can still lose 40 pounds and not be able to run a mile.
No, but
you should work on your cardio.
I am doing that. It's easier to work on your cardio when you
went for
don't
a
have
bike
so
ride,
much
A
weight
bike
on
ride.
you. Okay? I figure as the weight comes off, it becomes a lot easier to do all that stuff. I've started exercising to go along with
Fad
this.
diets are not
It's not a fad diet.
it absolutely is 1,000% a fad diet.
It's been around for like 40 years, this
and
diet.
you know,
Long fad.
what happened to Dr. Atkins? I forgot. Oh, yeah, he died of a heart attack because he ate too much meat.
You know, I don't like telling you anything about what's going on in my
That's
life.
fine. You know, eat your
Snack and
salami.
bacon.
What are
Snack
you
and
eating?
bacon.
What are you eating? Snack and bacon.
Snack and bacon.
That sounds great.
I keep
How
a-
many
He was
pounds
taking
of
a
bacon
big
you
bite
eat
out of
today?
a big giant salami.
Bacon and bourbon. That's your diet.
I know it's amazing.
That should be our bar. Bacon and bourbon.
It's bacon and bourbon. Like the other night, I went to a carnival. Have you been to any carnivals yet this summer?
Yeah.
Which ones did you go to so far?
I was out in Lemont and then went out in Bolingbrook.
I went to the Redeemer one. Yeah, I mean, in the middle of the diet, I'm just like, I had to find like the one place where I could get like the brats. I'm like, just give me a couple brats without any bun. No bun,
You're
right?
like, oh, we got one of those guys.
Got one of these
we got a no bun.
They got a no bun guy. Hey, right away, some guy walks up like, hey, Rudy. What's with you? You not having a bun? It's always like the biggest guy too.
Well, yeah,
it's like
you're over there just deep throat, just a lone dog in your mouth. Like
this guy,
Sam's bun. Right.
This guy's like 3 1/4, and he's like, "What are you trying to do? Lose a little weight?" Like those guys don't like it when guys like me, who's like sitting at 240, wants to get down to 210. You know, like he's like, "Whoa, I thought you were gonna come join the big boy
I don't
club."
think you've seen 210 since Champagne. Let's be honest.
up.
I'm just saying, we're
It's now time for your Southside Pod Word on the Street. Friday night this weekend, August the 13th, movie in the park in Palos, Rhea and the Last Dragon, Town Square Park at 8455 West 103rd Street. It kicks off at 6 o'clock in the evening with some acoustic music before the 8:30 show. Meanwhile, in Palos Park, a BMW stolen Tuesday evening from a gas station. Police are looking for witnesses. It happened just before 10 p.m. at 135th and LaGrange at the Shell. Keys were left in the car. Don't do that, especially when you have a BMW. If you have information about this, call the Palos Park Police. 708-448-2191. Out in Lemont, you cannot water anything outside. There is some issue with well number 6 in Lemont. No estimated completion date at this time. This well failed for the first time back in June, and there has been an outdoor watering ban that has been in place since then. A lot of brown lawns out in Lemont. The Village of Evergreen Park is doing their Sidewalk 50/50 program again. They pay for half of the repairs of your sidewalk. That costs you $90. Supposedly it costs them $90 as well. If you live in the EP, give a call now before the money runs out for this program, 708-422-1562. There's so much to do on the south side of Chicago, but one of the best things to do is watch the White Sox. Sorry to upset you Cub fans, but guess what? First place, big lead. A lot of their big stars coming back from injury. One heck of a tough stretch coming up over the next couple of weeks. Remember, you can follow everything going on with the team on the #1 White Sox podcast, Sox in the Basement. 2 30-minute episodes out each and every week. Subscribe anywhere podcasts can be found and always at soxinthebasement.com. I recently headed out to Cork and Kerry at the park at the corner of 33rd and Princeton in the shadow of the ballpark. Talked with some fans and chatted with the guy that owns the establishment and also owns the historic Cork and Kerry in the Beverly neighborhood. Check it out. Every time you go down to a White Sox game, you have to start your journey at Cork and Kerry at the park at the corner of 33rd and Princeton. Indoor-outdoor seating, an incredible ambiance. The windows open up, the fresh air blowing through, the craft beers on tap, the full liquor bar, the incredible food. I just enjoyed the Latino, which is an incredible burger to have, especially with my no-carb diet. Bill Guidey laughed at me. He's the owner of Cork and Kerry. He wanted me to taste new beers that are walking into this place. You're always updating the beer list, right, Bill?
Yeah, you got to keep it fresh and interesting for all the beer aficionados, White Sox fans.
Yeah.
Not just, of course, Goose Island, but everything else.
A great summer. You got to be excited after years of watching this team not do very well. You got a winner here. That's right. You're right in the shadow of a winner. It's going to be a fun next couple of months for you. Are you excited about it? At what point do you think that Fox reaches out and asks if they can put a camera inside of the bar so they can watch people celebrate during the postseason?
Right. Let's hope. Come on, Chris. We're Sox fans. Let's not count the chickens before they're hatched.
All right. Listen, I want to ask you, though, about the team, all right? What's your biggest moment? Your player that came out of nowhere. What is the thing that's happened this season that has you hoping for that postseason and that long run in it?
The thing that I really like, I think, is it's the hungry veterans. It's Lance Lynn coming in as the workhorse, and he's also, I think, setting the tone in the clubhouse. And the young guys, it's a good mix of veterans and young guys, and the young guys are following suit. I think they're just, they're paying attention to how he approaches the game and how he does everything professional. And for instance, I think Andrew Vaughn is just taking a page out of his book, really.
All right, I'm going to walk through your bar. You got a lot of happy customers here. They're all chowing down. They're enjoying the music. I'm going to ask them the same questions. We'll see how they do. And remember, folks, 33rd and Princeton, get out here. They're open when the games are going on. They're open when the games are not going on. You can watch the road games from here. You can watch the home games from here. You can pre-party, post-party. Bill, this place is always awesome every time I get here. Thanks for having me over.
Thanks for stopping in and always doing what you do. Keep up the great work, please.
What's your name, man?
My name is Alex. I'd like to answer your first question about what singular moment from this season has made you believe in this team more than anything, or something to that effect. The last doubleheader that I was at was against the Kansas City Royals, and it was the game where Jose Abreu collided with the first baseman who was running right into him. It was completely unfathomable. But this is a guy who has completely put himself into this team this season, who fights to stay in the lineup every single day, despite the injuries that he has, despite getting a 94-mile-per-hour fastball thrown right at his fucking head. He wants to stay in the lineup. And I take that resiliency with me every single day into my life, because we're dealing with a fucking crew of big dogs. These are guys who just want to perform, and we have the big granddaddy of this team who is providing the kind of hits, the kind of at-bats, and the kind of stretching that we have at first base. So everyone be like Jose Abreu, and kids, watch the White Sox.
It's his 30th birthday today.
It's this guy's 30th birthday?
30th birthday today.
And
Michael Golden.
And he's partying at Cork and Kerry, getting ready to go in?
Yep, going to the Sox game.
Yeah, excellent. All right, so how many Sox games so far this year, birthday boy?
So that's the thing. This is my first one, so guess I'm a fake fan, but he's been to like 12.
All right, are you following the team?
I do follow the team, yeah.
All right, cool. So I'm going to ask you, what's your moment? What player, what thing happened this year that made you sit there and say this could be the year?
Getting Kimbrel. You know what I mean?
Getting Kimbrel?
Yeah. Once the bullpen got a lot stronger, I think this is the year we can do it.
Happy birthday, by the way. 30 birthdays, 30 beers tonight?
Yep. Right.
That's why they made light beer. I have a confession to make. It's true, and I'm guessing you have done the same thing. Put more time into thinking about what's for dinner than preparing for your retirement. But if you think your retirement needs deserve more attention, I agree with you, and I want to help you out. I've got a local, experienced, down-to-earth guy who's a friend of this show. He's got a get-to-know-you approach and do the right thing values, and he's been around for over 20 years right here on the South Side. His name is Tom Walsh. He's located on the corner of 111th and Kedzie, and he's waiting for your call. In times of financial uncertainty, how can you stay on track? Call someone who's invested in your success. Reach out to Tom now, 773-779-0023, or pop in at the office right on 111th and Kedzie. Tell him we sent you. Edward Jones, Making Sense of Investing, member SIPC.
Maybe we should get you like a stand-up desk and like one of those cycle desks. So like
That's
when
what
you're
we need.
recording, you just
well, you could power your house by bicycle.
yeah.
Like
You
the
can't
show
record-
doesn't go on, and if you stop pedaling, the show shuts off.
Boom, everything shuts down.
So I have to bicycle
We'll do
while
like
I'm talking?
we'll do like a lose weight-a-thon for you.
Where I just sit
the
on a
Southside
bicycle.
Pod, great weight loss.
For every pound Chris loses,
Right, we will
the
donate.
broadcast basement
What will we donate?
will donate
some money to some
$1
food drive or something.
Like $1 a pound, right?
For every for every loaf of bread you don't eat today, we will give to a local homeless shelter.
We bought 10 loaves of bread, and whatever is left at the end of the day.
We locked Chris in a room with 47 loaves of bread. We're going to open up the door in 3 days and see how many loaves are left. Whatever listener comes closest. Does it work? Of course it works. You know, but so does contracting HIV. And it doesn't mean you should do it to lose weight.
Hold on a second.
Yeah.
Are you saying that some people may consider, as a weight loss alternative, contracting HIV?
Well, it's not a death sentence anymore. There are drugs to help you beat it.
very expensive drugs.
I'm glad that we've reached the point where that was something that you were able to say. You were like, let's be honest, you whiters. It's not like you're going to die. Back in my day, we got the hip, you died.
You're losing weight, practicing safe sex. I mean,
it's like eating a tapeworm.
I don't want any letters. Just saying that you don't have to go to an extreme measure to lose weight. If you just take a little bit of these extremist measures, like, hey, maybe eat a little bit less carbs. Or maybe eat a balanced meal. You know, look at the food pyramid and, you know, the whole don't eat anything bigger than your fist or whatever you got to do. But train yourself to do that instead of following some dead guy's, like, book from 40 years ago.
By the way, he died because he fell on his head, is how he actually died.
Really?
Yeah, he didn't have a heart attack.
Oh. I dream of one day of blue skies. I dream of one day when us guys can just sit down here. I dream of a day without Chris Lanute. I can't wait until Chris dies. Then we can have our own podcast without Chris's ass, our own podcast. It'll just be me and Mike on the mic and the Bill on the mic and the mic on the Bill. It's our podcast. Kiss my ass, cause Chris is gone. Chris is gone off the podcast. Off the podcast. So it'll be me and Mike sitting down here, and I'll still try to take control a little bit, and Mike will have to put in Chris's role, which is going to be awful. So we'll get through about a show and a half, I feel. It'll be like, you remember the show? It was a cop show, and it was set in Vegas, and it was absolutely like, it was set in like a musical term. Yeah, they were singing a lot.
Yeah.
And I believe
Cop rock.
It was a cop rock.
Cop rock.
Honest to God, if you look this up and you Wikipedia this, they canceled the show. Like, they didn't come back from commercial on like the third episode. Like, it was that bad. They're like, cut it.
My mom was
Done.
really into it. She was very.
It was awful. But that's basically what's going to happen to this podcast. How about the third episode? And once Mike goes, I'm going to have to recruit somebody. It's going to be really weird living at the house with Erica and the kids.
And the fact you have no idea how to do this.
True, but I'm going to hire people because... Whatever, we'll get to the logistics later.
You don't even know what button to hit over here. You just sit down in front of the microphone. There's a bunch of buttons. I'm
going to hit the right one eventually.
All right.
Okay? This is our time down here.
Yeah?
It all goes away, you write up Troy's bucket. That's a Goonies reference. Because one day, Chris...
Just do me a favor.
You're going to be gone.
Play this at my funeral.
We're going to be here.
Just over a speaker.
You know what we're going to call it?
What?
Bill and Mike's podcast. It's our podcast. We're done with Chris's ass. We don't know what we're doing or how we're going to make money, but we're going to talk and be funny, and we're going to get advertisers to buy some spots on our show, but then they're going to cancel their advertisements when they realize we don't know what the we're doing on the podcast, but the fact remains that it'll be our podcast.
Here on Southside Pod, we get to meet with people from all different parts of the South suburbs. Glenn Panuski is from Evergreen Park and is their spokesperson. And Glenn, you're doing something very out of the ordinary very soon in Evergreen Park, right?
Well, something of interest I mentioned to you once before, something we've got coming up on Saturday, August 21st. And I understand this is not a huge interest event, but I think it's quirky enough, or I should say...
Is this your typewriter
quirky.
thing?
It is our first annual type-in.
You talked about this on the show
Calling
before.
all classic typewriter lovers and writers or fans of quirky or QWERTY nostalgia. This will be at the Senior Center on the 21st of August from noon until 4 o'clock. It is a free event, and if you've got typewriters in your house... bring them. There are collectors. So, I mean, we will have collectors there and people who use them. Sit down at a table, type something out. We're going to have custom-made little type-in letterhead made, type a little letter to your relatives or something like that. And the big thing we're going to have is I actually have a celebrity going to be there.
Is this a celebrity typist or a celebrity?
This is, I consider her a celebrity. There's a girl on YouTube. She has a YouTube channel called Just My Typewriter. Her name is Sarah Everett, and she has a lot of nice videos out there. She's a collector. She also does nice artsy, crafty things with them. She's coming in from Pittsburgh.
Okay, let me get this straight, because I'm starting to think you're making this all up.
I am not.
Yeah,
it's all down here.
There are people that love typewriters so much that not only do they collect them, but they show up at events just to type letters at the event. Mm-hmm. And now you have a girl with a YouTube channel that just deals with typewriters flying in from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania,
right,
for an event here in Evergreen Park where you're expecting typewriter enthusiasts to come from all around and hang out at the Senior Center.
That is our hope. Hey, this is our first annual one.
You know what? I got to tell you something, man.
I want you there. Have a booth, doggone it.
I'm going to tell you, nobody will ever accuse Glenn Panuski of not shooting his shot. Like, he sits there and he goes, you know what? I got an idea. And I'm going for it. And I hope that you get thousands of typewriter enthusiasts at this thing.
I will be happy with 40. No, but literally, I think it is definitely listen, the typewriter thing, it's coming back just like LPs. And by the way, I will have a phonograph there. We will be playing some LPs in the background.
I had James Van Azen from Q101. He wanted to take one of my podcasts and put it on vinyl. And he did I was like, you're going to put a podcast on vinyl? So obviously there is this thing for nostalgia. So I'm kidding around, but I know there's people that are into this stuff.
I am working on having a guy there who is a typewriter repair guy, and now naturally he's not going to repair your typewriter right there, but at least he can give you some
he's going to evaluate
tips. He has a place in Chicago, so I'm working on him. And I probably should not say this because we'll get calls. Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks is coming?
He is a typewriter enthusiast.
Tom Hanks is coming to Evergreen Park. Is that what you're saying, Glenn?
I have sent him an invite. That's all I'm saying.
Listen, if you get Tom Hanks, it becomes the biggest event in the history of Evergreen Park.
Okay.
Right?
Ladies and gentlemen, this disclaimer Tom Hanks will not be coming to the Evergreen
What
Park.
if he comes, though?
That's when I get on the phone and call the mayor. I say, get over here right now.
You call me, too.
Well, I want you there. I want you to have a table there.
See, this is what you're doing. You're trying to entice me to the possibility that Forrest Gump is going to show up and sit down next to me. So for me to be able to have that opportunity, I got to go to the typewriter thing.
At the very least, I'll have a cardboard cutout of Tom Hanks sitting in front. No, literally. And we're part of the promo of the next couple of weeks, things that go out on our Facebook and eBlast. I'm going to be linking some really cool YouTube videos about what they call the typewriter revolution and little things like that. Hey, listen, it's an interesting way to spend part of your afternoon on the 21st.
You know what? Look. I think that things like card games like Magic the Gathering are weird because I don't understand it, and I've never been into typewriters. So,
but I'm thrilled to have.
I don't understand it, but you've got this YouTube star coming in from Pittsburgh, and the 1 out of 100,000 chance that Tom Hanks might show up. I mean, I'm digging it, Glenn.
Well, like I say, the envelope is making its way to California as we speak. So
he may show up. He's Tom Hanks. He does weird stuff.
Yeah, and
he pops up in the background of people's wedding photos. I've seen the little things on Facebook when they go around.
That's true.
Tom Hanks does some weird stuff. He might show up.
Okay, I will get calls.
I hope he shows
don't come
up.
expecting to see Tom Hanks.
I'm going expecting it, but I'm an unrealistic person.
Yeah, so we'll serve lunch. We'll have lunch available for purchase. So hey.
Tom Hanks eats for free, though, right?
Exactly right.
You put that in the invite, right?
So does Sarah Everett.
When you sent the invite to Tom Hanks, you told him if he showed up that everything was free, right? You didn't send the thing that said he has to pay for lunch. You're not getting Tom Hanks if he thinks he's got to spring for lunch.
I will buy his $5
All right, send another invite that says that you're taking care of his lunch. I don't want you missing out on him.
There you go. That is Saturday, August the 21st.
Noon to 4. Noon to 4.
At the very least, you should come through with your...
I'm going to come through.
There you go.
At the very least, I'm coming through.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to work on Tom Hanks for you.
There you go.
I'm going to make some phone calls.
Well,
but I'm going to try to work on this for you.
I could just see Facebook on the 22nd. They said Tom Hanks was going to be there, and he did. That was false advertising.
We went to the Outer Banks. Have you ever been there, Bill?
No, but I watched the show on Netflix.
Is what happens on the show on Netflix.
Murder and treasure hunting.
This is basically the calmest nothing happens anywhere on these islands place.
There's like the two sections of teenagers.
This Netflix show is not...
Two sections of teenagers, like the locals, and they forget what they call them, I don't know, like the goons or something like that. And then you got the
Jets.
rich. Yeah, then they got the rich people.
The
Sharks.
Right.
And they battle. And they hate each other.
Anyway... It's a beach.
So did you see any of that?
It's a beach. There's all kinds of, sunshine, waves. There's nothing to do indoors.
Sunshine,
nothing at all to do indoors.
That's great.
Rainbows.
And Erica's cousin went out there the week before us. So I asked Erica, I go, well, did she, I've never been to the island before.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, is she going to scout the island? Like find out like where the good spots are. She goes, oh, she doesn't leave the house. And I go, what?
She just goes and stays in the house?
She's allergic to sunshine.
That's not real, is it?
According to this girl, it is.
Like those.
Why would you go
kids
to a house
exist,
on the beach?
But like
was that
that's like a
movie?
real story,
right? When she went to a beach, she rented some house. She probably dropped something like $1,500 for the week to rent the place
To stay in the house.
Why would she go to a beach if she's allergic to the sun?
That's what I said.
Go to like Alaska during winter.
Yeah.
Anywhere.
Or Seattle from November to April.
Seattle's a great place for you if you're allergic to the sun. She went and she rented a place on the beach. So when I asked Erica, I'm like, well, what... does she have any recommendations for restaurants?
Yeah,
no,
he was looking for the bar.
She doesn't go out to eat at restaurants.
He wants the towny bar.
Well, what beaches are good? She doesn't go to the beach. Well, what? And she's like, she doesn't leave the house. She's allergic to the sun. And I'm like, she's what? Like every time that I hear something about one of her kinfolk, I think to myself, that blood is somewhere in my children.
Yeah.
Like there's only a little bit of it, but it's in there. Like I'm going to see that maybe one day when these weird things are going to do. I'll be like, oh, that's that DNA strand.
You can kind of see in the little one already, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you or someone you know looking to learn how to play a musical instrument this year? Then you should be checking out Westgate Music School, 6527 West 127th Street in Palos Heights. Private music lessons for all instruments, including guitar, piano, drums, voice, bass guitar, violin, banjo, ukulele, and more. Are you a vocalist? Are you ready to play a musical instrument and looking to join a group? Westgate Music School offers group classes for rock band, a cappella vocal, and barbershop quartet. Students of all ages and ability levels will have the opportunity to perform 3 times a year in a student concert. Gift certificates for Westgate are also available. More information, call 708-586-7002 or go to westgatemusicschool.com. It is now time for your South Side Sound Check. Live music is back at many venues. Check out these. This Friday night, the 13th of August, starting at 7 p.m., live music at Blue Island Beer Company in Blue Island. Jacqueline Hauser, Hi Ho, Nick Sintos, all of them are local Blue Islanders who are singer-songwriters. Again, it kicks off at $10 suggested donation. At the Thirsty Beaver at 5599 West 127th Street in Crestwood, Saturday night has the Luke Repass Band, 9 p.m. until midnight. Also on Saturday night, Latin Night at 115 Bourbon Street. DJ Technique kicks it off at 10 p.m. That goes till 2:30 in the morning. On Sunday, enjoy an acoustic set at Durbin's of Evergreen Park, 103rd and Kedzie, 10240 South Kedzie, to be exact. 4 to 7 p.m., Elroy Acoustic will be there. So much going on the South Side this weekend. The little guy, Nick, is now 6 years old. His new thing now is that he comes out of church every Sunday morning and he finds the priest and he walks up and tells him what he liked about his mass and what he didn't like.
He's giving him a Yelp review right away.
He goes up and he critiques the priest. And so he was at St. Christina, which is closer to your house than mine.
Yep.
Because the priest in my parish is still using COVID as an excuse as to why he doesn't do a Sunday afternoon one, which is hysterical because he just doesn't want to do a Sunday afternoon one.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
He's a big football fan. I think he sees football season coming, and he's like, I don't want to miss the second game.
What the deacons for the Sunday afternoon mass?
So he's coming up with this excuse. So we go to St. Christina. Well, the priest over at St. Christina is one of those priests that he wants to have a conversation with people in the middle of the mass. Like he does a homily and he tells a joke and then he waits to see if anybody laughs. And if you don't laugh, he accentuates it and says it a second time. Like he's annoyed you didn't laugh at his joke. All right.
Like he says the same punchline, just like kind of louder and slower.
He's like, by the way, that was a joke. Right.
It was a duck.
Like he's up there doing
but
a comedy
then he looks
routine.
for the guy that laughs and then he like engages him.
Right.
In the
that's what he does.
Audience.
So if somebody finds him funny, he starts playing off that person like he's doing a comedy routine.
Like, where are you from?
Yeah. Where are you from? You over there on Hamlin? You know the thing about people who live on Hamlin? Like it's kind of like one of those things. Like he's doing a routine while he's up there. So as he's walking back as the mass is ending, and he just has to clear the back of the church because some people, they don't want to leave until they're sure that the priest has made it through the church. Yeah, he's got to
be out of the building, right? You know,
he stops halfway through his thing where he's walking out. Because he sees Nick waving at him.
Oh, boy. Oh, no.
Now, any other priest just walk by, but he's a star, this priest. Like, he has to stop. This is one of his adoring fans.
Nick should not ask for autographs during
Nick
church.
immediately starts telling him what he liked about his prayers and what he didn't like about his prayers. And he said, some of your jokes are funny and some of them were not. And I thought that the priest was immediately going to smite him for some of the jokes not being funny. But he ends up having like a 5-minute conversation, and the organist is she's going back to the first verse. She's trying to play it
running
off.
Out of songs. So
she got to the end of what she was probably going to play, and there was like a long note. She's like, I guess I have to continue because he hasn't made it up the aisle.
Same organist from the Windy City Thunderbolts, and she's just playing like what she knows. Like,
can't get the guy out.
Thank you for listening to see what's happening on the Southside Pod, on the Southside Pod. Join us again, and be sure to tell a friend about the Southside Pod, about the Southside Pod. All things about the neighborhood we live in, all things about the places that we go. It's the best side of Chicago, the South Side Pod.
Yeah, you killed me. You killed me in a song.